All right. So we're going to start with lesson 7.5, which is solve applications with rational equations. Okay. There we go. So let's look at the way reciprocal works. So we have, let's take a fraction like 1/2. So we're gonna take a look at the way reciprocal works. Okay, so we're gonna take a fraction, take 1/2. We know that 1/2 is also equal to what? To 4 over. If I multiplied by 1, meaning this is 1. 4 over 5, 5 over 5, that's going to be, so that's why this is the same as 1/2 is the same as 4 over 8, because all I'm doing here is multiplying by 1. Now, here's a question. Is it also true that the reciprocals are equal? Is it also true that the reciprocals are equal? So let me see. So we have, what's the reciprocal of 1 over 2? 2 over 1. Is it the same as 8 over 4? Yes, it's the same. 8 over 4 is 2. Okay. And let me give you another example. Also, if we have 1/3, 1/3 is equal to what? 2/6. It will multiply by 2. And 3 over 1 is the same as 6 over 2. So it seems, okay, so it seems that if two single fractions are equal, the reciprocals are also equal. Okay? So it seems fractions are equal, the reciprocals are also equal. That's what we saw. If the fractions are equal, the reciprocals are equal too. Now, so do you guys remember the name that we give to two fractions that are equal to each other? They are called a proportion. And I'm going to write down that question here, okay? When we have two fractions, that are equal to each other, so fractions that are equal to each other, they are called a proportion. So meaning two ratios equal to each other. Two ratios equal to each other. So here comes the rule that if we have, so if A over B is the same as C over D, what can we do here? We can reciprocate, right? If we reciprocate, what do we get? B over A is the same as D over C. Where what? Where A, B, C, and D are not equal to 0. So that means that as long as none of these numbers is equal to 0, okay? So keep in mind that if we reciprocate a proportion, you will maintain equality. If you reciprocate a proportion, proportion, yes, you will maintain what? Equality. Equality. So if we reciprocate a proportion, you will maintain an equality. So now, let me just give you a story. Let's do this over here. Okay, so we're gonna do this example that I have. Let's pretend that this is an example. Let's pretend that I need to let's say that I have a house and I'm going to sell the house. So I some rooms, okay, of the house. I need to paint the living room. So I estimated that it will take me 3 hours to paint the living room. So 3 hours to paint the living room. Okay? That could say you or me will take that. That's how long it will take. All right. And you have a friend, and your friend says, if I'm going to help you, he estimated that it will take him 12 hours to paint the same living room. Yes, it's more than, I know, it's like 4 times. Yes, it's half of a day. So it will be, wow, it will be a lot more. And his argument is like, I cannot really help you because what all I'm going to be doing is slowing you down. If we were going to do it together. So my question to you guys is, we're going to think about it. Does he have a point? Does adding someone to a project who is 4 times slower than you drag you down? Let's see. Okay, so let me write down that question. So if we do it together, so we could say that he will only slow me down. We did it together. That's what he says. Okay, so the question is, does he have a point? Does adding someone to a project, does adding someone to a project who is what? 4 times slower than you will drag you down? That's the question. Does adding someone to a project who is 4 times slower than you will drag you down? Let's see. And so then we're gonna we'll figure it out the rate we will have working at together, okay? So we're gonna figure that out. So we're gonna be doing number of rooms divided by what? By time it takes. Okay, that's what we're gonna go by. Number of rooms divided by times it takes to do it together. So let's see. If I do one room, it takes me 3 hours. This is one room, and this is my time. All right, now but it's going to be 12 hours. All right, and together will be one room, and that's going to be what? Our time together, right? Our joint time. Now, what I really want to know is how much time it takes us to work together. That's what I need to know. So let me write it down. What I really want to know is how much time it takes us to work together. Or the x, right? That's what I need to find. So let's do it. So I have, because he's saying that if he helps me, he's going to slow me down. So let's find out if that's true. Hold on. Okay. So we are going to do 1/3 plus 1/12 equal. We got to do this part first, right? It's equal to 1/x. So my lowest common denominator is going to be 12. Lowest common denominator. Okay. What do I need to multiply 3 by 4 and by 4 and 12 by 1 and by 1? So what do I have there? 4 plus 1. So this is going to be, I have 12, 5/12, 1 or equal to 1/x. Now, this is what I have so far, right? Let me write it down on this page. I have 5/12 equals to 1/x. So if this is what I have, and we want to solve for x, what can I do? And we want to solve for x. The question is, what can we do? How about if we reciprocate? Okay, reciprocate. Let's do that. Okay, we are going to reciprocate. Okay, so let's do that. So we have 5/12 equals to 1/x. So we're going to reciprocate. When we do that, means 12/5 equals to what? X/1. So then we got it. So x is going to be equal to 12/5. And what is 12/5? 2.4 hours. Okay? Was my friend right? No. Even if it took 4 times longer than I will still finish in less time than if I do it alone. Because if I do it alone, it was going to take me 3 hours. But if he helps me, it will take me. So we could see that the math shows that any help still save me some time. All right. Now, before we continue, let's solve equations containing rational expressions. All right, and this is solving equations. This is 7.4. All right. We're gonna be solving equations containing rational expressions, okay? So the first one says we need to solve, it says solve for, we have 5x divided by 4 minus 3 over 2 divided 7x over 8, okay? So what do we need to do? We need to write each term with the lowest common denominator. That we have to do it. So first we need to, I'm gonna write it down here. We need to write each term with the lowest common denominator. And what would the lowest common denominator would be, guys? So let me write it again here. So we have 5x over 4 minus 3 over 2 equals to 7x over 8. So my greatest common denominator is going to be 8, or lowest common denominator. So let me write it, I'll find another color for that, this one. So this is my lowest common denominator. So what do I need to multiply 4 to get 8 by 2? And 2 by 4, 8 by 1. Okay, so we have 10x, this is going to be 12, and this is going to be 7x. Now, if all the denominators are equal or they match, we're only going to be considering the numerator. And let me write that down. If all of the denominators, this is when we're doing rational expressions. If all of the denominators are equal or they match, meaning they're all the same, then only consider the numerators, okay? And that's what we're going to be doing here. So we're just going to have 10x minus 12 equals to 7x. Okay, now we're going to make a 0 here. And this is going to be 12 plus 7x. And we gotta make another 0 here. And what do we get? We get 3x equals to 12. And we're gonna make 4. And this is our answer. So first, we're going to find the lowest common denominator. Once we have the lowest common denominator, and the denominators are equal or match, we're just going to consider the numerators. And that's what we did here. Let me give you another exercise. This one says solve and we have 6 divided by x minus x plus 9 divided by 5x equal to 2 over 5. Okay? So first we gotta make the denominators match, right? That's the first thing that we need to do. We need to make the denominators match. So in order to do that, what do we need? We find the lowest common denominator. And our lowest common denominator here, let me write down the equation again. We have x so this one needs a what? This one needs a 5, right? And this one needs a x. So let me write down then. So I need to multiply by 5 and I need to multiply by x. So what I have here is 35x minus x plus 9. I'm using the parentheses because I could see the negative sign here. And we have 2x equal to 5x. So now, what are we doing? Now we're only going to be considered only the numerators. So let me write them down. The next steps will be now consider only the numerators. So let's see how it's going to look. We're going to have 30x plus 9 equals to 2x. What do we need to do here? We need to distribute. Don't forget to distribute. So let's distribute that. So we have 30 minus x minus 9 equals to what? To 2x. So now we are going to combine like terms. 30 minus 9 is going to be 21. And I'm going to be making a 0. So this is going to be 21 equals to what? 3x. And gonna multiply by the reciprocal. So what do I get? X is equal to 7. just found my x. So second equation, let's do another one. This one says solve x minus 5 divided x plus 3, and this is 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 3. And it says consider the numerators only. We have the same denominators, okay? So we have x minus 5 equals to 2x minus 1. We're going to distribute this, so this is going to be 2x minus 2. And what do we do now? We are going to make a 0 here, and we get negative 5 equal to x minus 2. And we're going to be adding 2. And what do we get? X equal to negative 3. Now, this is what happened. If x is equal to negative 3, that makes the denominator equal to 0. So we cannot use it. All right? So therefore, there's no solution. Let me write that down. What happened with this answer? But x equal to negative 3 makes the denominator equal to 0. So we cannot use it. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So we're going to say that there is no solution. Okay? Now I have another one here. This one says solve, and we have 5x over 5x minus 1 plus 1 over x equals to 1 over 5x minus 1. Okay? The first thing that we need to do is match the denominators, right? In other words, find lowest common denominator. And so then, so what I have is 5x minus 1 Okay, so what am I missing on this one? I'm missing the x, right? And on this one, I'm missing the 5x minus 1. 5x minus 1. What am I missing on this one? X. All right? So now we're only going to be considered the numerators. Okay, so let's do it. So we only going to be, what do we have on the first one? 5x squared. The second one is going to be what? 5x minus 1 equal to x. That's what we have there. Now, for x minus 1 is equal to 0. And we gotta do the box. Here comes the box. So we have 5x squared and we have negative 1. When we multiply, we get what? Negative 5x squared. And when we add, we get 4x. That's going to be what? 5 and 1, right? So we have a 5x and an x. If I multiply, I need to get negative. But when I add it, it needs to be positive. So this one is the one that is going to be negative. And here's x, 1, 5x, and 1. All right. If I multiplied this one times x, then 1 needs to be negative. Negative 1 times negative 1, negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. So my answer is going to be x plus 1 and 5x minus 1 equals to 0. This is the zero product rule. So we have x plus 1 equals to 0 and 5x minus 1 equals to 0. So we're going to subtract 1. Five x equals to 1. We're going to make a 1. So what do we have? X equal to 1 over 5. Now, let's see. We have one answer that is x equals to negative 1. Can x be equal to negative 1? Yeah. That would be negative 5 minus 1, negative 6. And this one will be negative 1. But what happened when I use this one? Let's try that. So it's for the denominator, 5x minus 1. So we're going to be, what do we get here? 1 minus 1, so it's going to be 0. So this one makes the denominator 0. We cannot use it. We're only going to be using this one. Okay? Makes the denominator equal to 0. Okay? So this is only our answer. This is our only answer. We cannot use 1 over 4. Okay? Now, let's do this one. We have 2 over x minus 2, 5 plus 2x, x squared minus 4, x divided by 2. All right? So what do we need to do first? Find the lowest common denominator. So let's do it. What do we have here? We have x minus 2, right? And what is this equal to? Difference of 2 squared, x minus 2 and x plus 2. Now, let's see. We need to find lowest common denominator. So what are we missing here on this one? Oh, excuse me. This is x plus 2 plus. What are we missing here? We're missing a x plus 2 and x plus 2. Now it's going to look the same. And on this one, we're missing an x minus 2 and x minus 2. So now you see they all match. And we're only going to be considered the numerator. So what we have is 2x plus 2 minus 5 plus 2x and x minus 2. Only numerators, okay? Now, let's do the distribute here. So we have 2x plus 4 minus 5 minus 2x, x squared minus 2x. So I'm gonna combine. This is 0, right? And right here, I have a negative 1. If I add plus 1, I'm making a 0. So this is going to be equal to x squared minus 2x plus 1. So let's do it. X squared minus 2x plus 1 is going to be equal to 0. So I need two numbers multiplied, I get 1. And when I add them, I get negative 2. There we go. So it's going to be x minus 1 equal to 0 and x minus 1 equal to 0. Because they're the same, we're just going to do 1. Making it 0, so x, my answer is going to be x is equal to 1. All right? So first we find the lowest common denominator. Once we find the lowest common denominator, we just keep the numerators, okay? That's all we do. We just keep the numerators. I do have one more exercise, guys. Okay? Yeah, let me do it. So it says find a number. Look, what is this one? Find a number that when added to the numerator and subtracted from the denominator of 3 over 11 results in a fraction that is equal to 5 over 2. So we need to find a number. So So we're gonna find a number that when we add it, here's the number, x is the number. So we need to find a number that when we add it, it is the fraction. So a number that when we add it right here to the numerator and subtract it from the denominator, give us what? 5/2. That's what they're saying there. Find a number that when I add it to this numerator and subtract it to this, the numerator and denominator, I get 5/2. Now, this is what I have. Now I need to find lowest common denominator or the match. So let's do that. My lowest common denominator so what are we missing here? The 2. The 2. And what are we missing here? 11 minus x. Oh, should have been in red. 11 minus x. Okay. Now we are only going to be working with the numerators only. Okay, let's do it. So we have 2 times 3 plus x equals to 5, 11 minus x. So I'm going to distribute. This will be 6 plus 2x, and this side will be 55 minus 5x. I'm going to make a 0 here. So what do we have? We have 2x equals to 55 minus 6 is 49. And now I'm going to make a 0 by equal to 49. And now, what do? X is equal to 7. We could check this one. Let's do it. And we're going to check x equals to 7. Okay, so let's see. We have a 3 plus x divided 11 minus x equals 5/2. So let me replace it. X plus 3 plus 7, 11 minus 7. We're going to find out if it's equal, right? 3 plus 7 is 10. 11 minus 7 is 4. Is this equal to this? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, I do have I believe we did this one. 3/8. Did we do this one? Hold on. No. Oops. Let me do it. Oops. So this one says we're gonna keep solving rational expressions, and this is solve, and we have 3/8 plus 2/y equals to 1/4. All right, so we know we need to find the lowest common denominator, right? LCD, or what we call match. So it's gonna have to be 8, isn't it? So we need to multiply this one. If the lowest common denominator is 8, so this needs to be multiplied 8 and what? And y, right? 8y. So I need to multiply this by y, this one by 8, and this one by 2y and 2y. All right, so this is 3y, 16, and this is 2y. Sorry, 2y. Now, I'm going to do numerators. 3y plus 16 is equal to 2y. Making a 0, what do I have? Negative y. But I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, so y is going to be equal to negative 16. And that's going to be my answer. I have another one here that we could do. This one says we need to find the domain of this function. Find the domain of the function. Okay, so we're only gonna do the bottom part. If we do this, this is going to be what? 6x squared plus x equals minus 2 equals to 0. I need to do the box. When I do the box, what I get is, oops. Okay, let me get my pencil. I'm just gonna write it down here so you guys know, okay? Negative 3x and negative 2. So I have 3x plus 2 and 2x minus 1. So I have 3x plus 2 equals to 0 and 2x minus 1 equals to 0. Make a 0 here, and I have 3x equals to negative 2. And what do I do now? Reciprocal. X is equal to negative 2 over 3. And make a 0. I'm going to have x equal to 1/2. And those are my two answers, okay? Find the domain of the function. And I just found it.